Welcome to the Connected Kidz podcast. My name is Josh Davison. I'm one of the co-founders and head coaches at Connected Kidz. The purpose at Connected Kidz is to help parents and practitioners master the fundamentals of the Melillo Method so they can help their children or clients with autism and other neurological conditions to give you the tools, knowledge and confidence that you need to start making a difference today. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody back to another episode of a podcast. Really excited to have guest Sarah here with us. Yes, it's another Sarah. Someone made a joke that we only interview Sarahs. So if you're Sarah and you want to be on the podcast, let us know. So Sarah is one of the heroes, I like to say, of our Connected Kidz programs, because she's one of the mums that puts in all the hard work, doing the sessions and the exercises and doing all that hard work. Sarah, how are you doing today?
Not too bad, thank you. And yourself, Josh?
Yeah, really good. How are you feeling about being on the podcast?
A little bit nervous, but I just feel like Braxton's story, it's a really special one to share. So we need to talk about it.
It is. So thank you very much for pushing through those nerves. I'm sure everyone can relate to that. So firstly, just tell us about yourself, where you live, your family dynamics.
So I live in Horsham, Victoria, roughly 3.5 hours from Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 kids. So I've got Braxton is my oldest. He's 11. I have Jimmy. He is 5, just started school this year. And I have a little girl, Kyha. She's 18 months old. I am a full-time carer for Brax. And then in between that, I'm studying and doing the program through yourself.
Just with that distance there, the reason that stood out to me was because one of the reasons why we set up our business the way that we did, and we specialize in the online delivery of the Melillo Method, because I remember in our early talks, you would describe for most of Braxton's therapy, you go to Melbourne. Can you tell us what that's like?
So most of the medical care that Braxton receives is in Melbourne at the Royal Children's. It might be a day trip that I'm down there, or it could be an overnight stay, depending on the timing of appointments and how long we're needing to be down there for. Where we are in Horsham, we're very limited with support, so they've got a very long wait list. I've usually had to source things over the phone. Any appointments that I can get that are online with minimal wait list, that's what I found has worked best for us. When we were able to do the therapy with you and there was an option to do that online, I jumped at it.
Yeah, awesome. Tell us a little bit about the contrast for you and for Brax. Packing, getting them in the car, sitting in the car, overnight, waiting rooms versus what it's like to do a session with us.
Yeah, so if we're required to be down in Melbourne for an appointment, I've got to organise my 2 children at home. Jimmy's at school, so I need someone here to be able to get him to school, pick him up, someone to look after Kyha, my daughter. And for Braxton, it's a 3.5 to 4 hour trip to Melbourne, which is usually quite fatiguing for him. And yeah, it's the expense of paying for accommodation, it's paying for your meals down there, your fuel to get to Melbourne. And then it's usually a lot of sitting around in waiting rooms, waiting for appointments. So it is quite a long day. And by the end of it, I then still have to pack everything up, and I've got a 3.5 to 4 hour drive home.
Yeah. Your partner works away as well?
Yes. So my partner, he's an interstate truck driver. So he's away Monday to Friday. And then if he's doing harvest, he's usually working most of the weekend as well.
I guess I'm probing into those questions because often when people are looking at this, and it is maybe more intense than some other therapies in some ways, because we do multiple times a week and the parent is engaged. I guess when I hear that, I think if you can do it, anybody can.
So I'll add on that too. When we're going to Melbourne for medical appointments, that's to see neurosurgeons, that's to see oncology or the endocrinology team, the specialists that Braxton's linked in with. But the therapy side of things, when we were actively doing the standard therapies for 5 years, we were having to do speech over the phone twice a week. We were having to do OT. That was in person. She was local, and that was every fortnight, but it was still an hour out of my day. I had to try and fit that appointment in somewhere. And then physio was usually over the phone as well. And that was probably 2 sessions a week. So you're factoring that in between kids, home life, Braxton school hours, and all of your therapy appointments, travel to Melbourne. Yeah, it becomes a lot to juggle.
And so your approach was to put those on pause or hold and to just do this.
Yes. So by putting everything else on pause, it was basically a way for me to simplify therapy into one session. And then it was consistent and it was repetitive for Braxton. So when we were getting on the calls with you, we knew what program we were following, and we knew what was expected. And then on the other 2 days that we do the program ourselves, it was easy. Like, it made things a lot easier for us. We knew what we were having to do without having you over the phone.
And I've got to say, I just loved working with you and Brax. Brax is such an awesome kid that was so much fun to do the sessions with, and it was really positive about the sessions, which most of the kids were. Why do you think he engaged or was positive about this therapy versus another one?
It was different, very different approach. And when we started off with the paintbrushes and we were, tickling his feet or tickling his back, we enjoyed that. It was fun. And then when we moved on to the Resi Max, that was something different and exciting. And I think a lot of it too, Josh, was the way that you interacted with Braxton over the phone. You always made an effort to make the sessions fun and interesting and engaging for him.
Awesome. So we haven't really dived into Braxton. Can you tell us a little bit? And this is emotional, so as much or as little as you want to share, but can you tell us a little bit about Braxton's medical history and where he was when we started?
Sure. So Braxton was diagnosed with a brain tumour about 6 years ago when he was 5. So the year he was due to start prep, he spent most of that year in and out of hospital in Melbourne. He's had probably 3 major brain operations to try and debulk that tumour. He's undergone multiple chemotherapy agents. He went through radiation last year on the brain. And as a result of the tumour, he's ended up with an acquired brain injury. He's had issues with his mobility, his speech, fine motor, his short-term memory that's been impacted. Fatigue's been a really big thing too, quite fatigued a lot of the time. And from being in hospital, he's missed out on a lot of school. So he's missed out on the academic side, but also the social side of things as well. And really just hasn't been able to be a kid. Last year, he had a bleed on the brain, and that resulted in him going into cardiac arrest. And he was put into an induced coma for about a week or so. And then he came out of that and had to do the whole rehab process. He had to learn how to drink, how to eat, how to talk, how to walk. And then he commenced radiation after that. And I was told probably 6 months after he finished radiation, this was by a neuropsychologist, that I needed to consider putting Braxton in a special school because he would only ever be able to learn the basic of basic life skills. And that, for me, to keep him in mainstream, that was me being cruel more than anything.
As a parent, I can't imagine what that would be like to have to see one of your children go through that. You said something to me that you've learnt something from each of your kids. Tell me what that experience and what you've felt Braxton has taught you through that.
I feel as though Braxton, he's taught me a purpose in life. Jimmy, he teaches me patience on a daily basis. And then Kyha, I feel like she's helping me find myself again. I find that, you become a mum and we become so about our children that we tend to forget ourselves. And then becoming a carer for Braxton, I just feel like I lost myself even more. And a lot of my time I'm either studying or I'm researching and looking into ways that I can support him with his health. So yeah, Kai has come along and she's just that reminder that I need to find who I am again and that I'm important as well.
For sure. That's a really cool way to look at it. And I'm so inspired by both you and Braxton's positivity and enthusiasm for you to have that outlook. And I can see how driven you are. Like you said, you're now studying this method so that you can help other people and that you can help them the way that it was able to help Braxton, which is so cool. And I must have asked you every couple of weeks, was Braxton this positive before he had all these injuries? Because He's one of the most positive kids you could ever meet, even after all these terrible things that he's had to go through. So I think that's a good way to segue from, you have all these issues and you get told that you're going to have to really lower the bar for Braxton. He's probably going to need special school, won't be able to hack it in mainstream school. Then a little bit after that, you find the Melillo Method and Connected Kidz. So can you tell us how you found us, and as a result of that conversation, I know that spurred you?
Yes. So after being told that Braxton's brain would never heal, that he'd always have a brain injury, and that I needed to consider the special school, I started looking into ways to heal the brain. When I heard those words, it's just like something in me, I was just so hesitant with what she was saying. I just almost didn't believe it. And I just followed that and I really trusted that. And I actually stumbled across Dr. Melillo on Instagram and started looking into his work and the things that he was doing. And then I thought, I wonder if there's anyone in Australia who offers this type of therapy or this type of program. And yeah, came across Connected Kidz and signed up to do the course. And then we actually got on a call and had a chat. And then that's when we started discussing the therapy and that you offered it online. So I thought that would be the most easy and convenient way for Braxton to be able to do this therapy.
So we have a couple of ways that people can work with us or use the Melillo Method. We have a Melillo Method mentoring program where people can be mentored, whether that's a parent or a therapist who wants to help someone. And then we also will take a child through the therapy ourselves. And you decided to do both of those, which is like the theory, to learn the theory, and to have a coach, which was myself, to actually run your child through the practical at the same time. We often get someone come in and they'll say, I don't know if I should do the course or if I should do the program, or should I do one before the other? How did you find doing them both at the same time?
I found it beneficial because they both work hand in hand. So I was getting the hands-on experience by doing the therapy with Braxton, with you. And then I was also getting the knowledge and the understanding through the study. So by getting the hands-on experience, it helped me understand the study. And then by doing the study, it helped me with doing the hands-on side of it. I feel as though they both work really well together.
That makes perfect sense. And when people ask me now, because of our experience and how good it's been, I say some of the best results I've seen is when people are doing them at the same time, side by side. So if people are able to, I know it was your experience that was helpful. So let's talk about during the program. You had a good time. We got through the therapy. You really enjoyed it. What were some of the first signs that you saw that things were changing? And was there like a, wow, this is actually working moment?
So some of the things I started noticing was his fatigue was improving and his mobility. And then I was also hearing comments from different people here and there. So whether it was Braxton's support worker, so she's with Braxton 3 days a week, and she was commenting, wow, he doesn't seem as tired, or his mobility's improved. And she was also joining in on the sessions with you as well. So she was seeing his progress by doing the therapy. And then family members would start to comment on different things that they were noticing, that he was more alert, he seemed more awake, less tired. And then the school, Braxton has learning support teachers that come in. And one of them actually saw me at school one day and she said, I've really noticed the difference with Braxton this term compared to last term. She said his work's improving, he's making incredible progress. And she's like, what are you doing differently? And I said, well, actually, we've changed our approach. And yeah, Braxton's really enjoying it. And she said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it's working.
Awesome. And I believe one of the feedback that you shared with me before we started, you said you had to write it down because there was so much positive feedback and so many good changes that you saw. So one of them that I remembered was in relation to the special school comment that you were given, that an expert had told you that that was sort of his potential. You got a specific comment about that. Could you share that, please?
I did, yeah. So it was actually this same learning support teacher. She was talking to me a couple of weeks ago and she just said how great Braxton's doing at school and she's really enjoying seeing his progress. And I said, isn't it funny that it was only November last year that I was told I needed to consider putting him in a special school? and he's making that academic progress that she told me he would never make. And he's done that all within a 4-month period. And she said, I used to do the testing for children to be able to get into the special school. And she said he'd be too smart. He would be too smart. So there's no way that, like, he doesn't need to be there and he wouldn't get accepted into the special school.
How would that feel from somebody else? It's not just you hoping this for your child, but this is a third party with no vested interest really who says that to you. How did that feel?
Oh, it feels amazing. It's nice to have people around you that aren't just telling you what your child's not able to do or what they will no longer be able to do. It's nice to hear from people that they're seeing his progress and they're seeing his capabilities and his strengths, and they're seeing him the way that you do.
So we're hoping that other parents will see this who are thinking about doing this therapy, but might have some hesitations or concerns. So what would your advice be to a parent who's considering doing this therapy?
I think if you've tried all of the standard therapies or the standard approaches and you don't seem to be getting anywhere with them, or if you feel like you've hit a dead end and people don't have answers for you, but they're not exactly providing alternatives, what have you got to lose by trying something new? I really feel that our kids, they choose us for a reason, and they've chosen us to walk with them on their journey. And yeah, if you've been told that there is no alternative, there is. And, Braxton's proof. We've done this program for 16 weeks and we've already had incredible progress. And I feel for him, this is really just the beginning.
And we've seen these great improvements so far. Someone like Braxton's going to need ongoing therapy because, as you said, with significant deficits, he really got taken back to the start. And I'm excited too to continue working with you and Braxton and to see what the potential is for him. This might be hard, but if you had to sum up your experience in a sentence or two, what would you say?
I would have to say life-changing, Josh. You have given me that hope, the answer, what I've been searching for 6 years for my son, when everybody else just seemed to want to give him a label or just give up on him. You offered us an alternative and you saw what I see in Braxton. You saw his potential. And yeah, life-changing. That is all I can really say, life-changing.
I think that was more than 2 sentences. But we'll take it. And thank you. It's been life-changing for me too. Like I said, based on what you've been through, I'm a parent, and all the parents listening out there, it would be terrible to have to see your child go through that. I think a lot of people could be bitter, they could be angry, they could be taken a lot of different ways, but you decided to take it as your purpose. Use that to dedicate yourself to him and to now helping others. So I'm really excited to continue that journey with you. Thanks again for your time today.
Pleasure.
Thanks so much for listening to the Connected Kidz podcast. Hope you got some great value out of this episode. If you're ready to get started, please visit our website, connectedkids.com.au. Whether you're a parent with NDIS funding wanting us to work with your child, or whether you're a therapist wanting to start implementing this in your clinic. Until next time, let's keep inspiring change one child at a time.